Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. It is a very special live stream because I'm going to interview the hosts from the A to Z English podcast. And here they are the two hosts, Jack and Kevin. Welcome. Uh,
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Thanks, Robin. Good evening.
nice to have you here. We're going to talk about your podcast tonight. Before we
Right.
get into the podcast stuff, why don't you two introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'll go first.
Go for it.
My name is Jack, and I am from the United States. I was born in Minnesota. Some of you might already know that if you've listened to the podcast already. Um, I have been an English teacher for about 20 years now, and I've been at the same university here in South Korea for about 17 years, and so that's what I do. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, Kevin.
Yeah, and I'm Kevin, of course. I'm also American. And Jack and I are long-term friends because we work at the same university here in
That's right.
South Korea. I'm also American, but I'm from the desert, the southwest Arizona. So if you've ever seen a cowboy movie, that's Arizona. And yeah, I've been doing English teaching in Korea and just traveling around the world when I can, meeting cool people.
Now I'm Canadian. I've never been to Minnesota, but I have been to Arizona, and I really loved Arizona.
Grand Canyon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite states. Uh, anyway, welcome to the live stream. We're going to talk about podcasts
Nice.
and
All right.
chat. Anyone in the chat, if you have any questions for Jack or Kevin, please let me know. Type the question, and I'll be sure to ask them.
It's kind of
So
cool already to see some names that I recognize from our WeChat group.
we have
It's very cool.
Layla and Lolly Lolly and Salome.
All right.
Kavina
Thanks
People
for
from
is
all
having
over
us.
the
here.
world. We've got France, and this is very exciting.
Absolutely.
Ilner, hi. Lots of people are joining. How are you? How are you, friend? We're all fine.
Absolutely.
Oh, and Sleepwalkers here. All right, lots of Harry 300.
Nice.
All right. Oh, there's a lot of comments, so I can't really. Oh, wow, there's really a lot of comments, so I can't really get through them all.
Anna had a question, but we can get back to that maybe after we introduce what
All
we're
right. So, guys, what's a podcast?
All right. I can handle this. A podcast is very simple. It's very similar to a radio program.
Yep.
The only difference is that it's put on the internet. So unlike the radio where you have to listen to it at a certain time, you can download a podcast or stream a podcast anytime you want, and it's always available. You can go back and listen to an older program or the newest episodes. It's just a very, very convenient way to listen to audio. And so I don't know, Kevin, would you agree with that definition?
it is. It's talk radio. I listen to a lot of podcasts myself just because it's a way to learn about anything. There's so many cool podcasts.
Yeah.
Is this a podcast right now? Like, what's the difference?
This
Well,
could be a podcast. If you
should.
recorded the audio of our live stream and then uploaded it to a website and made it available for people to listen, then it would be a podcast. That's
Okay.
essentially
But right
what
now,
it
the
is.
live aspect is not a podcast.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
podcasts are things that you can check at any time that you want once we upload it. It's just there.
And what's the name of your podcast?
We are the A to Z English podcast because we are hoping to help everyone out there with learning and practicing English and everything English from A to Z, everything from the alphabet to well, not xylophones because that's an X, but any
Apples to zebras, something like that.
yeah, anything out there. And we've just started, but we will have everything eventually.
That's right. That's right.
All right. I'll remind my chat if you have any questions for Jack or Kevin, please please ask in the chat, and I'll be sure to ask them. Uh, are podcasts good for learning English?
I think that they absolutely are fantastic for learning English. The reason I say that is because, a lot of times when you're studying English, you need to be in front of a computer or in a classroom. A podcast is something that you can listen to and improve your English while you're on the bus, going to school, going to class, cleaning your house, washing the dishes. It's just you just pop in your headphones and you hit play on your phone, your smartphone, and yeah, it's so convenient. I think that's why it's a great way to learn, because it lets you learn in those times when you're doing things that you might be just wasted time. So I
Yeah,
don't know, Kevin, would you
anytime.
agree with that? Yeah.
That's why I love podcasts as well, because I like to listen to them when I'm like riding my bicycle, for example. And when you're
Yeah.
riding a bike, or if you're driving a car or walking even, it's hard to watch a video, it's hard to read a book. But just putting in your earphones, then a podcast is great, and you can just listen while you're doing so many other things, of course. So that's why podcasts, I think, are cool.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
All right. I have a question here from Anna Maria. How much time have you been working with podcasts, or maybe how long have you been working with podcasts?
Well, for me, I've been a fan of podcasts for a long time, like 10 years. So I listened to a lot of podcasts. Um, but about a little over a year ago,
Already, yeah, been a bit over a year.
yeah, I came to Kevin with an idea, and another friend of ours, and we started a podcast called the Soul Patch Podcast, which was kind of related to Korean topics, and things about
Mhm.
Korea, which is where we live. But we did that for over a year, and then with the kind of encouragement of Robin, we have
Yep.
branched out to English language education. So we just wanted, we're really appreciative to you, Robin, for giving us that little push to do that.
I just saw two professional podcasters, and I thought they would be great at teaching English.
It's
For
we
the
love
been
for
doing
the
it. Yeah,
We
for
have
the
been teaching
podcast.
English longer than we've been podcasting, of course, but
yeah,
podcasting already for over a year.
sure.
And Layla, Kevin, and Jack, why did you move to Korea as well?
Oh,
Oh, that's a big question.
that is
You
a
want to
big
go
I,
first?
I just want to mention we are all in Korea.
Yes.
Is the podcast about Korea?
No, the
No.
podcast is not about Korea. The podcast is for everybody all over the planet, for anyone interested in learning English. This
All right.
podcast is for
All right.
you.
All right. So
Yeah.
the podcast is not about Korea, but so why are you guys in Korea?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, for me, it started with 1 year of teaching English in Thailand, and which turned into 3 years. My original plan was just 1 year, and I jumped over to Korea and started teaching here, and I just never looked back. I just stayed. It was kind of a happy accident, you could say, that I ended up here. But I love it. I love teaching English.
Yeah, and mine's pretty similar as well. I was a teacher before I came to Korea, actually. I was teaching at my university back in the States, and I loved teaching. It's fun being in front of students, and I love traveling as well. So I realized at the time that being a native English speaker, I could go anywhere in the world and travel and teach at the same time. Two things that I loved to do already. And I came to Korea. I was thinking I might do Korea and then maybe Japan or Thailand or Indonesia or anywhere, but I just love Korean food. So I just stayed here.
All right. Where can we find your podcast?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. We
Very important.
actually, yeah, it's a very important question. We have a website, and it is A to Z English Podcast.com.
All right. I'm
That's
gonna.
A to Z English Podcast.com.
Okay. I'm just posting it in the chat.
Yep,
Oh,
nice.
that's great.
Okay.
Thank you, Robin. So if you go there, you can find everything. It's a one-stop shop for the whole podcast. If you click, you can click that WhatsApp button and join our WhatsApp group from the homepage. You can visit all of our social media accounts, and you can see us on Instagram and Twitter, Telegram, and Facebook, of course, and YouTube, of course. But also, if you click the episodes button on the homepage, that'll take you to all of the episodes, and then you just have to click the episode you want to listen to, and there's a player on that page, and you just click play, and you can listen to it. And also, we provide a free study guide that in a PDF form. So there's a study guide with some questions. It has vocabulary, and there's even a fill in the blanks section, so you can do a little listening practice, and you have to listen carefully to fill in those blanks.
A little bit of
And,
homework for those who want it.
Yeah, a little bit of homework, and it gives you a little more purpose for listening to the podcast if you're really interested in learning English. So,
Is the podcast available in iTunes?
absolutely. We are on Apple, in Apple Podcasts. So you can find us in iTunes if you type in the A to Z English podcast.
All right. And
It's
Salome,
also on the website, of course. You can click the
Yeah.
website that will link to iTunes.
do you choose the podcast topics randomly? That's a question from Salome.
Yeah. One of the ways that we've been choosing topics lately is by going into our WhatsApp group. And the students are active in the WhatsApp group. And so we've been saying, like, what topics would you like us to talk about? What do you want us to discuss? And we've gotten some really good ideas. And so basically we'll talk about anything. We're interested in, like I said, it's the A to Z English podcast. So we'll cover any topic. And Kevin and I know each other well, so we're very comfortable just discussing any topic and sharing ideas and telling stories about our past. And we love to share that with you, the listeners out there too.
Right. And I will say that although right now some of the topics seem a little random, like we're just talking about travel or pets or things like that, as we continue to make more and more episodes, then we'll start to have really specific focus on different things as well. But we've just started, and that's why we're so excited to bring what we have to everybody here.
That's right. We're still adding different kinds of episodes as well. We released an episode called Stories. Like you can just listen to it, listen to me read a short story, and there's even a transcript that goes along with that. So if you're into reading or into just listening to stories, we have something like that available. So yeah, there's a lot of different ideas that we have right now.
And Mei Feng Chi asked the question, do the podcasts come with transcriptions or transcripts?
Right now, they don't. Kev,
Not
do
a full
you?
transcript.
Yeah.
We're
What's that?
working on that. A full transcript is a little bit difficult to do, but we have some plans to hopefully get a full transcript up in the future. Right now, we've just got the simple vocabulary and some fill in the blanks and things like that. So not yet, but it is something we have talked about, and hopefully we'll be able to get that for you later.
Absolutely.
Layla says, I would like to say podcast is one of the best and fruitful materials to learn English by a fun way.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Layla. Yeah.
What's the tone of your podcast? Is it a fun or funny
Hopefully.
time with you guys?
We think it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny to us. Yeah. We try to keep it light, like I don't think that students want necessarily something that's too heavy. But like I said, we're still experimenting with different styles. So if students want something more academic, we can always do an episode like that where we talk about grammar, talk about parts of speech and things like that. But I think right now students are enjoying the conversational nature of the podcast.
I think that's a big part of it, is conversational, right?
Mhm.
A big part for me. I saw someone in the chat earlier asked if I speak Korean living in Korea, and I do speak some Korean here. But there it is. And for me, a big part of learning a language, learning Korean or any language, is simple communication. My Korean is not perfect. It's not. It's really not. But I can communicate with Korean people around me. I can order things at the store. I can buy what I want. I can do basic things at the doctor. And I think that's what's most important for beginning to learn a language. If you travel, or if you meet a foreigner, if you meet someone in your country, you're not going to talk about politics to start. Maybe later, but it's just conversation.
Mhm.
And just basic, how are you doing, what are your hobbies? And that's what we're focused on to begin with, is conversation. Can you communicate in English? And later we can get into some really tougher topics, but we're starting with the more conversational, comfortable things.
Yes. So you do speak Korean.
I do. Come around to that. I do speak Korean.
It was a long
Jack,
answer.
Jack, do you speak?
No comment. Yeah.
I think we don't really want to talk about that, but a lot of expats, especially English teachers, do not pick up Korean while they're here. We do. I think we have basic survival Korean, but for the
Yeah.
most part, I don't know. Are you actively studying Korean, Jack?
Well, actively. Yeah,
I'm not.
actively,
So if
yeah.
that helps,
I feel better then.
I'm currently
no,
not actively. I need to
Yeah.
get studying again. I do.
I have studied in the past. I can read the like I can read the alphabet, and I can order food, and I can take a taxi, and I can do a lot of things. But having like a meaningful conversation is one of my future goals. We'll say.
All right.
I will say for that, though, because I've been quite busy, I don't have time to go to a Korean school these days. I have in the past. These days I don't. So my Korean studying is all on my phone. I have a vocabulary app and a podcast, a Korean podcast.
There you go.
Everyone watching or listening, we are 3 veteran teachers. We spend our days thinking of ways to help our students learn English. So we're spending our days making new content and thinking of ways to help you guys. So,
and the thing that students should remember is that if you have a smartphone, that's just as useful for listening to a podcast as a computer. So, you can find podcasts and play them on a smartphone very easily. So, yeah, that's all you need: headphones and a phone.
all right. How long does it take you to make an episode?
Oh, that's a good question.
Total time.
Yeah, I mean, like the recording aspect of it is actually the shorter part of it. When Kevin and I sit down and we decide on a topic, and then we talk, we record the whole thing, the whole conversation, and then really the podcast comes out of that conversation after we're done talking, because I'll put it into an editing. I'll use editing software to kind of cut all the little pauses and things that that were maybe not clear or whatever, and try to make it into a nice something that is nice to listen to. And we'll add some music and stuff like that. So I would say probably if we talk for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, it takes me another hour to edit the podcast. And I always listen to it one time after I'm done to make sure I didn't miss anything.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah. But it's fun. I like the editing aspect.
Oh, here's a good question. Here's a good question for Kevin. Why did you leave the USA? Many of us dream about going there.
Well, like I said, I wanted to travel around the world. And the one thing, though, so my great grandparents moved to the USA for the same reason that you, Anna Maria, maybe were dreaming about going there to find a better life. And I think America is a unique country, and it still does provide a good life for many people. But there are many good countries around the world that can provide good lives. And me leaving America, coming to Korea, was for the same reason that my grandparents went to America in the first place, to find something new. And America is not always the best for everything. It's the best for some things, but not for everything and not for everyone. Everyone wants different things. And I was just happy to be somewhere else.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say Korea was my land of opportunity. There was opportunity here for me to work, and so yeah, very much like going to America. America is called the land of opportunity, right? It's one of the names. I felt the same way about Korea, and so yeah, I think the American dream. I found it. I found it in Korea.
Hmm.
That's an
Right.
interesting aspect of my life there. Yeah.
All right. Layla, what are the difficulties that you still encounter while making or doing your podcasts?
Hmm. Kev,
Jack and
what
I
kind of
always talk over each
difficulties?
other.
Talking
Oh,
over each other. What does that mean, talking over each other?
we talk at the same time. And so one thing that's very strange about doing a podcast via Zoom or other programs like this is it's we're not together. It would be much nicer if Jack and I could be sitting next to each other and talking. And doing it over the internet is a bit strange sometimes. Other problems that we have are topics. That's why we're always asking for topics ideas, because we're thinking of them all day, every day. But we want
So
to
you encourage your WhatsApp members to give you topics.
Oh,
anything
absolutely.
they want
Yeah.
to talk about. We are happy to talk about, because it's fun for me to talk about other topics as well. Like Jack and I, we've talked many years about many different topics, and so we're having the same conversation sometimes again and again. But sometimes if someone asks us a question, maybe it's something I've never talked to Jack about. And so yeah,
Hmm.
it's more fun for me too if it's a new topic.
And the transcription problem. You don't transcribe or you don't make a script yet. Is that something students could help you with?
Absolutely. I mean, it's
Maybe.
yeah,
You
if
could.
students,
I mean, if it's
yeah.
difficult for you, perhaps you can give some tasks to your students to help you transcribe a script that would help their listening.
Well, I would throw that out there right now. If any of you out there are interested in doing a listening exercise like that, where you listen and type it into a transcript, please contact us. Let us know in the WhatsApp group, or send us an email.
And we can
Our
figure out
email
how to.
is
I think that would
yeah,
be really good for students to help out with that.
yeah.
Students,
Listening
you
and
have a
transcribing.
chance to listen and transcribe their podcasts.
Yeah. The cool thing about our WhatsApp group is that once you join and you participate, you're part of our podcast family, and that is a really cool aspect of this podcast. A lot of podcasts are not like that. It's very much separated between the hosts and the listeners. But you can choose to be active in our WhatsApp group, and we're on there every day talking with students, and we want to interact with you, and we want you to become part of our podcast family. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's great. I don't mean to rush you guys along,
Oh,
but there's
no
a lot of,
problem.
a lot of questions.
Okay,
This is
okay.
from a
Yeah.
Facebook user. He says it seems Korea is a popular destination for American citizens for who have been. He says, I know more people who have been there for years. That is the thing that lead you there. I think you guys already talked about why you came, your motives.
Yeah, I mean,
There
for me
definitely
again,
are
that
a lot of popular. I mean, Korea does seem, and
I'm
more and more.
Canadian. Canadians come here too.
Yeah.
As a lot
I
of
think you
South
mean North
Africans.
Americans, maybe. Yeah.
Well, there's South Africans,
Oh, that's
Australians,
true. Yeah,
New
yeah.
Zealand.
Right. Australians. Good eye,
Uh,
mate.
Robin introduced us many teachers who work in Korea. You are in a good company of friends, sir. Thank you. Okay. How often do you release a new episode?
Oh, now that's interesting because our original plan was to release 2 episodes a week on Mondays and Thursdays. But because our library is a little bit small at the moment, Kev and I are trying to record extra episodes. So right now we're releasing 3 in a row. In three days, we're releasing 3 episodes. So we've just released one about travel, your style of traveling.
Right.
Another one's coming out in a few hours about phobias. And then
Good
tomorrow
one.
we will release another one about
Yeah.
pets. So,
So,
yeah,
Sorry,
really
what's
for that
tomorrow's
question-
topic?
tomorrow's
Pet?
topic is pets. Yeah,
Okay, pets. All right.
yeah. So
And so-
phobias and then
and-
pets. Yeah.
How often do we release? At least twice a week. It will be
Mm-hmm.
at least twice a week.
least
For these days, there might be maybe extra for a little while, but at least that.
Eunice, who supports everything I do, you do. He says he's in the Sahara Desert in Morocco. It's hot here. I think it's like Arizona's weather. Haha. Who's from Arizona?
That's me. Morocco. I would love to travel to Morocco. That's very high on my list of countries to visit. And yeah, Arizona is proper hot. In southern Arizona in the summer, it's 40 to 50 degrees, like 40, 45 degrees every day. Very dry, though. It feels like an oven. It's just hot and dry. And I know, Eunice, if you're in the desert, it's crazy because it's hot in the day, but it's quite cold at night, right? Deserts are a very big change in temperature from day to night.
Harry 300. Why do you guys teach English in another country? Do people in the US, Canada not really need an English teacher? This question is for you too, Robin. You guys go first. Why are you here?
Well, yeah. Why am I here? I should go back. Actually, my high school teacher, my high school and basketball coach, asked me the same question when I went back to America. He's like, we need teachers in America. Why aren't you here? The truth is that while I was here, I met my wife and got married. My wife is Korean. We have a daughter, and my daughter's in middle school. So I've made I have deep roots here in Korea, and so it's very difficult for me to just leave and to go back and teach there. And yeah, there is a need for teachers in America, but I think the need is stronger here in Korea. So that's why I stay here.
I'm just going to quickly point out that we're all working at universities here in Korea. So we are very professional in our jobs here. We do have careers here. And of course, some of us have families. I do not have a family here, but I enjoy my career here.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, anything you want to add?
Well, the one thing, I have a friend of mine is an English teacher back in America, in Arizona, actually, but that's a different style of English teaching, right? Like he's teaching English the same way that all of the people watching, the same way that you learned your native language in school. The English that Jack, Robin, and I teach is second language English. So it's helping people to communicate with people around the world. And that's different from learning your own language. And so, I mean, communication is something I think is so important. And that's one reason I like teaching English as a second language instead of English as a first language. So that's why doing it abroad is different than doing it in America.
Anna Maria says, it's great watching you while you speak. It makes conversation warm. I'm smiling watching you. Okay,
Right.
Thank you, Anna Maria.
Thank you very much, Anna Maria. Yeah.
I do have to say hi to Kevin out there. I've seen him posting, or Kevinu. I'm not sure his exact pronunciation.
He's
because I've talked to him. He's my name cousin, and I've
there. He is. I realize that I've never seen Kevin before.
There we go.
There's your chance.
Nice. Yeah,
Kevin, this is Kevin.
2 Kevins. Yeah.
Nice to meet
So there's no confusion. Kevin, can you raise your hand? Jack, can you raise your hand? Okay, Rob,
Jack.
There, so everyone knows who's who. Some people are asking about other podcasts, but we're not going to talk about other podcasts.
We're the
Tika,
only podcast in the
thank
world.
thank you,
Yes.
Tika, for being a member.
Nice.
And Cavino, guys, can you say one sentence very fast in English? This is my request.
I guess, Kevin, it really depends on what you want me to talk about because I'm quite capable of speaking very quickly, but it's tough to know what you want me to say. If I want to talk about pets, I can talk about my pet. My dog is sleeping right next to me on the bed. Of course, my wife is right next to him, and there's a lot of things that I can talk about, but this might be a bit too fast for you. So that's why on the podcast, I try and slow down.
Can you
I
say
can't
that
do that.
again? I
I
didn't
can't do
get
that. Yeah, say that exactly word for word.
That I can't do.
I've been in Korea for 23 years.
Wow.
My English speed has certainly dropped. I can't speak fast at all. Of course, when I first arrived, I was speaking very fast, but not everyone's understanding what you say, so you kind of slow down a bit. And I've kind of got stuck in that slow mode until
Yeah.
now. How about you guys? How has being in Korea affected your English ability?
That's interesting. I found
Yeah.
that,
Go ahead, Kevin.
I mean, one, I do speak more slowly in general, but it's also changed my vocabulary a lot, which I think is interesting. For example, for Americans, maybe Canadians as well, I would guess, we usually say, like, where did you go to college? Right? Like, if I was going to talk about that, I never say college anymore because it's more international to use the word university.
Mm-hmm.
And so some words have just changed. When I go back home to my American friends and I talk about, remember when we were in university? And they're like, what? In university? It's like, no, when we were in college. And so along with speed, some vocabulary has become more international, I guess, in some ways.
Agreed. Yeah. There's my one word answer.
You got it.
That's fine. That's fine. We got a
Is
lot
that
of
okay?
questions.
Okay.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
questions.
Agreed.
Layla asks, are you going to make the next episodes to be almost 1 hour? Are you gonna? What is the average time of an episode right now?
The average time right now is probably around 15 minutes. I would say long ones probably go about 20. The shortest one is probably 10. So it's
When we do
somewhere
interviews, those might be about 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So
we did like 45 minutes with the last interview, I think.
That was
would
long.
you ever do a 1 hour podcast?
I mean, we would do a 1 hour podcast. The reason we haven't is we went and looked at we did like a little bit of research just insofar as like what's the average length of language learning podcasts, and we found some that were as short as like 5 minutes, like just really quick vocabulary lessons, and the longest ones were around 20 to 25 minutes. It wasn't much like longer than that. I think just when you're learning a language, you're like our ability to just focus and to stay focused on something that's a little bit difficult, like listening in a second language, it's better to do it in small pieces than to do it in like a big large chunk. And so we try to break it up. Instead of listening for 1 hour, maybe just stack like 2 or 3 episodes in a row. Listen to 3 episodes. That will be about an hour. And
they can control the chunks and the content.
Yeah.
And so if they want more,
that was our
they
theory.
can binge.
Yeah.
It sounds like a good idea to at least keep the core at about 15 to 20 minutes, and
Absolutely.
interviews sound great at 30 minutes.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes in the future. We have Antonio Banderas, howdy from the Sonoran Desert.
Nice.
He also says, I love the States.
Same desert.
Yeah.
Victoria Rosero, hello.
Hello.
Good evening. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Anna Maria, would you like to move to another country? I would. I'm eager to move out of Korea. I don't know about you guys.
My wife is right now looking at Zillow. So yeah, we're always
What is Zillow?
Zillow is a real estate app if in America. So if you're buying a house or an apartment or a condo, in the United States, you can jump on Zillow. So there's a free commercial for Zillow. But yeah, it's searching for, you can search for houses and things like that. So yeah, real estate.
Okay. And Layla says, I'm eager to transcript the podcast, but I might be a little slow. I don't know if that's okay.
Oh,
That's fine. I think
yeah,
they're not
absolutely. We're not gonna say anything. Yeah, any little bit of help that we get is welcome, and will always be met with open arms and a big smile. So yeah.
What do you think about the culture in Korea, especially at working?
Kev, you're more tuned into Korea maybe than I am.
I gave notes before this podcast or before this live stream, not to talk about Korea too much, but we're getting a lot of questions about Korea.
There are 3 of us here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We are
No K-pop questions though, please. Okay, I don't know anything about BTS.
I don't think my audience.
I think I'll just keep this simple for the culture question. And I think you guys would probably agree with me on this, although you said you might be looking for, to move abroad. If you didn't enjoy Korean culture, you probably would not have been here for 22 or 17 or 15 years, right? Like, it's not perfect, but no country is perfect. And so overall, Korean culture's got a lot of good things.
Sure.
For me, I kind of differentiate between culture and society, if that makes sense. I love Korean society. The infrastructure, the rules, the policies. But yeah, when you deal with the cultural stuff, yeah, I do clash with that from time to time. For me, the way I did survive a long time is trying to avoid getting too close to the culture. Not that I'm isolated and alone. I do interact, but I kind of choose who I interact with and what kind of cultural events I go to, because it can be overwhelming as a newbie coming to Korea. Koreans are very eager to teach about their culture and their history, and they want you to, they throw everything at you, and even after I've been here a long time, and if I joined a social group, and there's a lot of Koreans, they're still eager to teach me so much. It can be overwhelming at times, but for me, the culture is great, but the society is one of the best in the world. I really think Korea is so safe. Wow, it's such a safe place.
Great.
What is the difference in the mentality of American and
Vocabulary
Koreans?
That's from our is that from our study guide, I think? Mentality. Good job. Yeah.
Okay, did you have any culture shock when you first arrived?
There are a lot of rules for eating and drinking in Korea. That's something that will kind of shock you when you come here, or if you come here.
And a lot
I
of
can't
it
go
is
into all of it, but
age, of course. I think that's a big mentality. Is age and rank are very important. So, I know, Jack, you're older than me. Robin, I think you're older than me as well. If you've been here 22 years, so in Korean culture, both of you being older than me are above me, and that's kind of a hard thing to get used to. Is people being above or below just based on age. In American English, I don't care if you're 20, 40, or 80. We're all basically equal.
Yeah, age is so important in Korea, and that's the difference between me and Koreans. Because if someone tells me their age, I'm probably going to forget 10 minutes later. I'm not good with remembering age. I don't care. I just don't care. But you tell a Korean, they want to know within 10 minutes, and they'll remember forever.
They will. They will.
Especially if they're older than you. Yeah.
Anything else surprising when you first arrived?
the humidity. I mean, we've been talking a lot about the weather in the WhatsApp group, and I know some of the numbers there were ridiculously hot that I saw in the chat group. But in Korea in the summer, it gets really humid. It's like very kind of swampy and sticky and wet and muggy. And that was shocking to me. My first
Lots of
summer in
mosquitoes.
Korea, lots of
Lots of mosquitoes.
mosquitoes,
Yeah.
lots of rain. Yeah, it's a kind of miserable time in Korea, at least for me. That this part of the season, this season.
All right, we have Gui. Hello, guys. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Grace, I am late. Welcome. Better late than never.
There you
There are some other questions. Sorry, I'm gonna pass.
Can I ask a question just to everyone out there, because this is the first time I've ever done like this kind of live stream to people all over the world. If you can, could you just type your country? I just think it's really cool that I'm talking to people from all over the world at the same time. This is kind of fun. I just want to know, where is everyone from? I saw
Safa Sonba.
Egypt.
Why do
Egypt.
not you go to Egypt? So I
I
imagine.
also Egypt is one of my hobbies is diving, free diving, and the Dahab is famous for diving, and so it's also I really want to go to Dahab. I know a lot of friends who have been there, and they just loved it for that. Colombia, Saudi Arabia, amazing, very cool.
Do you like
Sri
to come
Lanka,
to-
I've been to Sri Lanka. Cavino, I talked to you about that. Sri Lanka was amazing.
I've been there too.
Nice. That's a fun. It was a cool country.
Oh yeah, it's a gem. It's
Yeah.
well, maybe not these days.
Right, unfortunately. Russia, Malaysia. I've been to Malaysia. Haven't been down to Colombia. I used to speak Spanish. Ana Maria, entiendo más que hablo. I studied Spanish in university, but I've pretty much forgotten most of it, unfortunately. Indonesia, India, nice.
You guys love traveling a lot, so could I know your plans? You know, are you going to travel? Do you have any plans to travel anywhere?
Yeah, actually, that's so funny that you somebody mentioned Malaysia, because Malaysia is one of the countries that's on our list. So we really want to. My family, we really want to go to Malaysia. So I've never been there before, and
Malaysia's
I heard the
beautiful as
food
well.
is the food is amazing. I mean, Penang, yeah, it's so good. So I would love to go there.
I think you can try to visit Indonesia because Indonesian people still need English teachers. Well, that's the beauty of these live streams. We can teach Indonesians from Korea right now.
There you
Yep.
go. Yeah, just an internet connection and a computer. Yeah.
I love Korean BBQ, barbecue.
Yes.
We all do.
Yes. Yes.
Teachers, are you homesick sometimes?
Oh.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But Korea has become home. All three of us have been in Korea for a very big part of our lives now. So when I go to America, I feel homesick for Korea sometimes.
Yeah. Reverse homesickness. Yeah.
It's
I
weird.
get that too. Yeah.
As they say, a good English expression, home is where the heart is, right? And not where you're from. I
There you
live
go.
in Korea. I've been in Korea for a long time, and this is home now.
Costa Rica here. Have you guys
Oh,
been to
nice.
Costa Rica?
Oh, I haven't, but
I
I
had a
want
friend
to.
who lived there for a while and
Yeah.
said it was amazing.
Yeah, I went there a few years ago. It was great.
Nice.
Anna Maria. You said wife. Who said wife?
We both did, I think. Yeah.
That's
I have a
Not
wife.
not me. So
Well,
yeah,
Okay. Two out of three. Yeah.
2 out of 3. All right. I'm about 14 minutes behind in the questions, so I'm gonna have to catch up.
I'm kind of following along as well. I saw
Jack, is your daughter fluent in the Korean language?
Absolutely. Her Korean is spot on, perfect. And her, it took her a while to. She was actually the Korean was a little bit better than the English for a while because she's watching Korean television. All her friends are Korean, and so she's very much surrounded by Korean. So I always speak English to my daughter, no matter what. I mean, my Korean is not very good, but even if I could speak Korean, I wouldn't with her. I just speak English with her, and so now her English is catching up, and it's much better. Yeah.
Tika asks, what methods of teaching English would be better to teach non-English speaker students? That's a wide question.
It's quite big.
It's a big question. Start where with things that you enjoy, and start with things that are, not out of your ability range, so
Well, start with podcasts.
exactly. Start with like short
Great.
stories and
Great way.
introductions. Yeah. We have some podcasts for
Tika,
you.
that's a very wide question. We could talk an hour on that.
Hmm. Easily.
Jean Denis Frederic, thank you. Thanks to you, I'm beginning to understand English. Well, good for you.
Great to
Oh,
hear.
that's great. Fantastic. Yeah.
Furkan Apium, where should I start learning English? First grammar or listening or learning words?
I would say vocabulary at the very beginning. At the very beginning of a language, vocabulary, so learning words, is more important than grammar. And I mean, listening comes along with it, but words, I think, is more important because if you're traveling in another country, if you don't know how to say, where is the bathroom, right? Like a full sentence. If you just say, like, bathroom, and you look around, someone will understand you. And you can start communicating with that. And so just the vocabulary will start communication. And then the grammar is really important because then it'll make your communication easier. But if you don't have vocabulary, you can't communicate.
It looks like Furkan, every student says I'm a beginner, but it looks like Furkan here is not a beginner.
Yeah, I'm
That's a pretty well written sentence there. Good question.
Furkan, it looks like you're doing very well, whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Both,
Listen to our podcast. It'll help you. Yeah.
Both voices are soft.
Is that good? Good soft?
I don't.
Is that good? I mean, I guess it's better than harsh, right? You wouldn't want to listen to somebody that's.
Is
hard
my
to listen
voice
to.
not soft? Is my voice different?
Both. Yeah.
Sorry, Robin.
If you don't mind, why do usually Jack, who is the one who responds to the most comments in the WhatsApp group? So, Kevin, you're not pulling your weight in the WhatsApp group?
Busted.
Yeah,
You have fans that want to talk to you, not Jack.
Clearly. I'll work on it, Layla. I'll try and check in more regularly.
Anna Maria from Colombia.
Nice. Colombia, Saudi Arabia.
Sue Parker from Russia. Mei Fengqi from Malaysia. Iran. Salome.
Nice. Very
Indonesia. Pronounce that name. Andika Panasti Putri.
It's a very Indonesian name.
Lavagna's from India. And
nice.
of course, Safas Hanbal is Egypt. Do you have any plans to visit Saudi Arabia?
Personally, I do not. I knew someone who was teaching there, I believe.
Actually,
but
I did as well. Yeah, I knew somebody who was there for a while.
I was planning to go to Saudi Arabia and meet Layla in the summer of 2020. But those plans got changed quickly. At the beginning of 2020.
Yeah.
So when I start traveling again, Saudi Arabia will be on my list.
Nice.
Very cool.
Anna Maria, don't forget your Spanish.
I need to get it back. I miss Spanish. I'm from Arizona's near Mexico, so I Spanished and I practiced, and I've been to Spain. It's a beautiful language. I study Korean because I live in Korea, so Spanish has unfortunately disappeared from my head. It's gone.
I studied it for many years, for a couple of years in college and high school. What's your Spanish name, Kevin?
I don't remember if I had a Spanish name because Kevin
Oh,
just
come on.
Kevin's not. Mine is Alfonso. Alfonso. So
I
yeah.
might have used Michael just because Mitchell is my family name. Like,
There you go. Miguel.
yeah, I might have used Miguel, but I don't remember offhand.
Miguel and Alfonso. A to Z English podcast. There you go.
Do you like Indian food?
It's amazing. Indian food's
Oh,
fantastic.
I love it. I just had Indian a week ago.
Where
India's a country I would
where
love to-
did you
In Pyeongtaek, in my hometown, my town that I live, there's a military base, and near there's a lot of international restaurants, and there's just a great Indian restaurant near there. So I love naan. Naan is the best bread ever made in the world. Yeah.
I don't disagree. It's pretty awesome.
Grace is from Malaysia.
Hey, Grace.
Lolly says, thank you very much for your answer. We don't remember the exact question, but we appreciate the reply. Lolly. Lolly has been visiting my live stream for years.
Oh, wow.
But she refuses to join my WhatsApp group for unknown reasons. But I do encourage everyone here, be active. You have a great opportunity to interact with native speakers, join their podcast WhatsApp group, and you can, participate, chat, learn.
Can I just send a message really quickly, Robin, to our listeners? Do the study guide, and then feel free to post your answers in the WhatsApp chat group, and then we'll look at those answers, and we've shared a couple in the podcast. So coming up here, we have listeners' comments where we read your comments and your answers to the discussion questions. And don't be shy. If you need help with the study guide, ask us, and ask the other people, other students in the chat group as well. There's a lot of really good English speakers in there. So
even if I'm too busy to chat, everyone else can help as well.
Oh, Safa Sanbol. I live in USA. Which state are you living in? I feel the same way about USA as you feel about Korea.
Yeah.
Come home for you.
It's interesting how that works. Yeah.
Do your wives speak English fluently? Oh, now they're starting to get comfortable. Start asking the personal questions.
My wife is an English teacher, so she speaks English very well.
That doesn't mean fluently.
Fluently, I would say yes, but I don't know if does that include like accent and intonation. Then I don't know. I'm not sure what your scale is, like how you're rating fluent, but I would say yes.
Layla, I'm not even sure if Jack here speaks fluently.
I'm quite sure.
No, I'm joking.
There are times during the podcast where
I have
Kevin...
a podcast, Jack. If you want to listen to it, it'll help with your English.
Yeah. Thank you.
Would you like to learn another language?
Like I said, I want to get my Spanish back first, and then figure it out from there. But I think learning more languages is cool. It helps you think differently. So
it's really good for your brain.
It really is.
Yeah.
I would love to learn Spanish. I've traveled a lot, and I can get by in most countries with English. But when I traveled through Central America.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I really needed Spanish, and I had to start learning, picking up words right away to survive. So there's a lot of other Spanish-speaking countries out there that I would like to visit. So Spanish is on my list for a language to learn. So I will ask Kevin and Anna Maria to help me out.
Nice.
I'm not sure. When Tika asked, Robin needs time to answer my question. Yeah, I got the bot. There was a bot in the chat. Did
I
you
saw
guys? So you can notify me if you see that in the future. There's always people coming in to spam. Not always, but time to
Yeah.
time. Edward viendo on
Guatemala.
Guatemala.
Nice.
Have you
Welcome.
been there?
South America, Central America is one that I haven't traveled because I've done most of my traveling once I came to Korea, and so I've done a lot of Asia, Southeast Asia countries more.
Living in Korea is so busy and stressful. So, there's the opposite countries like Thailand, you
Mm,
know,
Right.
to
and
chill.
anywhere Central America, and I imagine South America too, would just be the opposite of Korea, just laid back, relaxed.
I'd love to get down to South America. I really would love to see Chile. Chile looks amazing, and I love the wine. Morocco still. I also want to travel.
Yeah,
to
Morocco's on my list as well.
It's great having you in the WhatsApp group. We can have very nice conversations.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Alfonso.
Alfonso, thank you.
I mean, soft to hear them that make podcasts enjoyable. Your voice too. Okay, so I guess she says your voices were soft. That's a good thing. Makes it more
Nice.
enjoyable.
Glad to
Absolutely.
hear.
I think we answered that. I am shy. Lolly Lolly, please. Everyone loves you, Lolly Lolly. Join our WhatsApp groups. Participate. We have a good time. We chat about everything in the WhatsApp groups. We share things. We share photos.
There really is
Memes.
a lot of cool, a lot of like just fun talk in those. I've been surprised.
And Lolly Lolly, when you join a group, you're not always talking. You can just come into the group when you feel like it. As I do, I'm not always there. And Jack and Kevin, we don't live in these groups. We visit these groups when we have time.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite club?
Like football club?
Yes.
Okay. I'd only know like Liverpool and that's it. I would say Liverpool. I have no idea what that means.
You're asking Americans and Canadians about football club,
Right. Yeah.
Are we into any sports?
You guys see it?
I
yeah,
do yoga and I swim.
Yeah, I'm into real sports. No, I'm just kidding, Kevin. Sorry.
It's not really a sport, I guess.
I played basketball when I was young, and so I do like basketball. Baseball is a little bit slow for me. It's a little bit hard to watch, but I also like to watch tennis. So tennis and basketball, those are my two go-tos for sports. And I think Robin's a hockey person, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, Wayne Gretzky's your hometown hero. So
yeah. Growing up, still when I last time I went back to Canada, 2013, I was surprised. Everyone is just talking hockey, and it was summer, off season, and it's just
right.
every conversation is still hockey. And I was like, was that what it was like when I was here? And yeah, we just talked hockey all the time. And coming to Korea, I was broken away from hockey, and so I look at the stats, but I don't watch a game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way too. I don't watch. I'm not fanatical about it, but I do enjoy those two sports. Yeah,
And
hockey's
speaking,
pretty fun too. Yeah.
And speaking of Wayne Gretzky, when he was, because I have an older brother, and when he was just a rookie, my brother would take me to the Coliseum, the hockey stadium, to get his autograph. And almost every game, we wouldn't even go to the games because sometimes we had tickets, but sometimes we can't go. We would wait outside and then wait at the door where the hockey players come out. Great, Wayne Gretzky would come out, nobody around. Just me and my brother. Hey, can you sign this? Sign this.
So how many Wayne Gretzky autographs do you have then?
My brother has he's about 6 Wayne
Wow.
Gretzky rookie cards.
Wow, he can go on eBay and pretty much retire on.
2 of them signed. 2 of them signed.
Your brother's a genius. Yeah.
Well, we had hundreds of Wayne Gretzky cards on the dartboard too.
Yeah, those are. And yeah.
Layla says, I feel happy when I listen to you when you mention to my answers of the questions that you give.
In our
Well, that's great.
after the episode. That's because you're so active. So
you're so active in the WhatsApp group. It's great. Thank you.
I've seen you everywhere on YouTube live stream, Lolly, and you said you're shy. Yeah, Lolly is if you go to another English teacher's live stream and look at the chat, you will see Lolly there. She's a butterfly. She floats around she cheats on me with other English teachers.
Well, try a podcast.
Mahmoud Hassan, thanks to everyone. All right, we're going to wrap up in the next couple minutes. So get any last questions or goodbyes, comments, anything?
I saw a couple people say good night already. Tika and Zainun. Oh, I have a special guest if anyone likes it. Hold on.
Okay.
This is.
There we go. That's our mascot, the podcast mascot.
And now everyone just lost interest in what I have to say.
Sorry, Robin. This is my little girl.
How old is your little girl?
She is 18. She's an old dog.
And what's her name?
She's our love. Oh, hold on.
Her name is Dambi.
Yeah, Dambi is our old girl.
All right, I'm jumping. If you don't mind, could you please let me know how have met each other and Robin at first? How did we meet? I'll tell my story first of how I knew about you. I think I knew about you before you knew about me. So they did their podcast, the Soul Patch, and I was interested in doing a podcast long ago. So I listened to an episode of two of them, and then I saw that we joined a YouTube group for Korean YouTubers, and I think you might have put up an ad that said you're accepting interviews or something
in a Facebook group.
Yeah. And I think I just sent off an email. Hey, I'd like to be on your podcast. And then I was on their podcast. I don't think you knew about me before that.
I think, you know what though? I think I have, I'm sure, I'm 100% certain that I was familiar with your channel, that I had seen your channel before. But when you contacted me, I never made the connection at that time. So
chat.
Yeah,
because you guys are not learning English.
That's true. But I'm sure I pointed students towards your channel. I had to have. So
basically, we met on a Facebook YouTube group, and then I was interviewed for their podcast, and now I'm interviewing them. There you go. We've never met offline.
Nope, we're virtual friends only. And Robin, there's another spammer.
Now and forever. Now and forever. Oh,
now and forever.
Okay. No, I want to see you guys offline as soon as possible.
It'll have to happen one of these days.
All right.
I saw Jack. Somebody, who was it? Eunice just said some scientific topics could be interesting to talk about. And I know you and I have talked about science stuff. There's the James Webb Space Telescope could be a fun topic to discuss. Those pictures these days are amazing.
That's a hard one to talk about pictures, but
it is. But we can talk about the telescope, because the telescope is amazing.
I would say I could tell you everything I know about science in probably 10 to 15 minutes. So that will be about perfect.
Sir, can anyone live in Korea without knowing Korean language?
Oh, yeah. You can get by. A lot of people
But
speak English, right?
I think maybe he's asking about study or work purposes. And
Oh, so I see. I
I
see.
would say if anyone here who's thinking about coming to Korea or wants to come to Korea to study or work, you're going to have to learn Korean. I suggest before you come, and certainly when you
Yes.
arrive here, you're going to have to learn Korean. I think English teachers, we're the only group that can get away with
Mm.
not learning Korean.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else basically has to learn Korean.
There's more spam. Annoying.
Oh, really? Jeez. How's it getting in here? I think there's more spam because I did a lot of promotion.
Mm.
Okay, nice dog. Lots of cutes for your dog. You only have one pet?
I do only have one pet. Yep, just Dumby. She
All
takes
right.
all of our time.
18
Quite,
minutes.
quite
Okay,
literally.
I'm kind of skipping a lot of comments, everyone, so I'm sorry.
I'm just
We're
about
gonna wrap this up. I'm so glad to talk to you and having you here, Kevin and Jack. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Layla.
Oh,
All
we're
right.
happy to be here. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So you're gonna
fun, Robin.
let's wrap up quickly. You're on the A to Z English podcast.com. I'll put the link back
That's
here in the group. And you're active in your WhatsApp group.
Absolutely. So if you go to our homepage and you hit that WhatsApp button,
I already
Or that.
you're out there.
or just hit the link. Yeah.
And when is your next podcast coming out?
It's coming out in about 3 hours. Yeah, 2 or 3 hours. It'll be out. Yeah. Oh, maybe more like an hour. Yeah. Sorry, 1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour later.
It's already 11:36 p.m. in Korea. So
Yeah. So it comes out about 12:30 a.m. On the
Kevin's
18th.
getting tired.
Oh man.
We also have an Instagram and a Twitter handle. It is A to Z English 22, and so you can always talk to us on Instagram. I'll be uploading more photos and making posts and Instagram stories there as time goes by. So yeah, we plan on being active on Instagram and Twitter as well as our WhatsApp group. So give you a few other places to interact with us.
And Kevin, why should they listen to your podcast?
Because we are here all the time. Because we're here, we're happy to help you, and we'll do everything we can to interact and make it a fun experience for you. Hopefully learning and exciting and interesting and fun.
Jack, do you have anything to add to why we should learn? Students should listen to your podcast.
Because our podcast is, like Kevin said, we're interacting with you, and you can influence this podcast. You know, we're listening to you, and so this podcast can become whatever you want it to be, in a way. So we're trying to meet your needs, and you have a clear channel to communicate with us, and that's a little different than some other podcasts where they just do what they want. We're listening to you, we're talking to you, and we love your feedback. So yeah, please join that WhatsApp group, get active, communicate with us, talk with the other students, and we'll make the best possible product we can for you and to help you learn English. That's what we're here for.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you everyone for watching, and check out their podcast.
Good night.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.